Blue Apron, take back dinner.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Liars Club. I'm Felicia Michaels.
And I'm Jessica Wellington.
And what we do here at the Liars Club, by the way, we're a podcast and a game. We asked two of our comedy pals to come on. We asked them to tell two stories. One is a truth, one is a lie, and then we will pepper them with questions and try to figure out which one is the lie. Now, if you're listening to me on Spotify or iTunes or Podbean, just know that every Monday we go live from the Comedy Store's YouTube page at 4:30-ish, and most Fridays at 7:30-ish.
8:30.
8:30-ish. Thank you, my queen. Thank you. Anyway, so here we go, and people are playing along. They'll ask questions too, and we'll have our on-air producer here, Austin Lane Walker, and also behind the scene on-air producer who will pop up on the camera. And if you hear a strange voice coming in, that is Mr. Michael Evans, ginger extraordinaire.
Trans ginger. Thank
yes,
you.
you are.
Thank you.
All right. So, Austin, would you please introduce our guest
Absolutely,
today?
absolutely. All right, everybody, on your best behavior because the teacher is in. He's sitting right next to Jess. This man has performed with some of the greatest comics of all time, George Lopez and Brad Garrett, to name a couple, all after spending 10 years in a classroom, Jessica. Can you believe that?
Yes.
You can catch him in-sing over at the Ice House in Pasadena. He's known as the teacher comedian. He is Mr. Jimmy Byrne.
Hello, everybody.
Yay!
What? Man, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with Jimmy Buckley.
Yes.
Which is impossible to do.
We broke away from each other. That was it. You used to be Buckley. Now I wanted to be Burns. So this is it, baby.
There was a miscommunication on how his name is spelled on our YouTube page if you're playing along. Our second guest, please.
Man.
And down to business.
Teacher might be in the house, but so is the bitch. All right.
This fella's face might be familiar from shows like Angel from Hell or Superstore, which I was also on. He's got an album called Fantastic.
Extra.
I definitely appreciate you adding your credits
problem,
to my
no problem.
credits. That's fun.
That's my 9 seconds of fame. Thank you.
Good.
He has an album called Fantasticular Hilaritation available for download, and he's also a testicular cancer survivor. His name is Mr. Jon Huck.
Wow, John. Impressive.
I didn't know you were a testicular cancer survivor.
Yes, I have one testicle.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow. I was dating this guy, and he had one testicle because he had testicular cancer completely in remission or whatever, and they put a fake ball in there. Do you have a fake ball?
I don't. When I was going under for the surgery, I asked the doctor, goes, "Do you have any other questions?" And I go, "Yeah, is there like a fake one you could put in?" And at the time, I was 19, so this was
okay.
Ooh.
this is a long time ago,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Well, they're just starting to sort of test those, and they're called nudicles. They're only testing them on dogs." And he goes,
dogs.
He goes, if a
was
couple
gonna
years
say.
go by and you want one, we could put one in. And I was like, I'm probably not going to come back in to have you touch my dick again to put the thing in there. And
That's what I was
don't
going to
care.
say. They do. You can do that with dogs.
Yeah.
Wow. Why would you want your dog to look anatomically correct? I hope I'm saying that word
You are.
correctly.
You are.
You are.
Yeah, I
think
don't
it's
know.
Men think like it's a thing with them. It makes them feel like
Half
you
a
know,
man.
Yeah, you hurt him.
Less
you hurt
than a
your
man?
dog. You want him to
Oh.
feel like he's got his balls on him. You know.
Okay.
He
Is
doesn't
that
doesn't want to be mocked by other dogs.
Pretending you know what men want with
I
their
know what
dogs'
men
balls.
want. You know what I mean?
By the way, I'm so happy to see you, Jessica. Jessica, before we start the game, has been on the road for like 2.5 weeks. You worked in Birmingham. Tell us a little bit about that. Was that fun?
It's so much fun. That club is beautiful.
The Stardome. It is.
Oh.
Did my aunt come see you?
I don't know. She said
She-
she couldn't make it.
Oh, man, shame.
Yeah.
That's Huntsville, right? Or no?
Way to add
it's
to
the
the
one in
It's in
podcast.
Birmingham?
Well, it would have been great if she did.
Technically Hoover, but it's Birmingham.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, great place. And then you were in the Big Pine Comedy Festival.
Yeah, I had a really good time. My highlight of that was I was telling these guys I went to Arizona.
Which I thought was a nudist colony.
Yeah.
B-A-R-E.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought it was something else.
Yeah. We can all guess. Well, I'm glad you're back, and
I'm glad to be. I missed you guys.
We missed you
Leah
too.
says she missed you.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Glad
miss
that you're
Leah most of all.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you have a Mickey Mouse watch on?
No, it's actually Nicktoons. Not to be confused with Disney.
What are we in the 90s?
Yeah,
and
they can see that on the
middle
camera,
school?
you guys.
Courtesy of
All
my
right.
sister-in-law.
Here we go. So let's see. I think John, you have been on the podcast before. When
is
we
correct.
first started the podcast a little bit over a year ago, we used to sneak around here at the Comedy Store.
I didn't realize
before.
it was such a sneaky
Yeah,
thing.
we were
Like, I'm sure I just
sneaking.
walked in like, I'm here to do a podcast. Like, I wasn't like being quiet.
But why don't you start with your story?
Okay. Not many. I have a fairly well-known story about taking a dump in an alley in Munich, Germany, years ago. But a lesser-known story that I have not
Thank goodness.
really ever told people was that like about a week and a half before that incident, I was traveling through Europe with a couple of my friends, the same guys that were involved in that other story, and we were not trapped, I shouldn't say trapped. We got to Paris, France a little bit late in the day, and there was nothing. We were kind of broke at this point, so we had to camp, and the only place to camp was out, like a little bit outside the city. So we were, one day we went into Paris, and we were like, the whole idea was to go see Jim Morrison's headstone at the cemetery. And we got to the cemetery and we wandered around, and we you can open mausoleum doors. We were being just idiots and pushing each other around and laughing. And then all of a sudden they were like, oh, by the way, the cemetery's closing. So we tried to run to the headstone, and we got surrounded by like whoever worked there. They're like, you got to get out of here. So we never got to see Morrison's headstone. And then we ended up the next day.
Well, what time of day was that?
It was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I guess they started shutting it down at that point. And we got back to the campsite that night, and then we thought we could like.
Oh, you're camping at a campsite.
Yeah,
Did I miss that story? That part of the story?
We had to camp because we didn't have any money to stay like a hostel or anything. But the camp, it wasn't like I shouldn't say campsite. It was like a
park. It was just a park.
it's kind of well, it was just like a big field.
A homeless encampment?
No. We stayed in cages. It was fine.
Were there fires in a trash can, a tin trash can nearby?
No, it was a giant fenced in area that had like its own sort of like
immigration police
club, like a
club.
Not a club. I don't mean a club, but like a place that they could like. What would you call it? Like a
like
hall,
a YMCA?
like a town hall, Like just a big empty
Woodman of the World building.
What?
A Woodman of the World building.
That can't be a thing.
What is that? What is that?
I'm kidding.
It's a thing. They have insurance and everything. You can get life insurance through them.
I have no idea. This was
Woodman of the World.
Literally
and
so
they have
long ago.
Woodman of the World buildings. I had my 13th birthday party in one.
Omaha, Nebraska. It's called the WW building. Yep, Woodman of the World.
Yeah. See?
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of
Thank you,
horse shit
Jimmy.
is this?
I got your back, Jesse.
Okay, all right.
All right, so
Woman of the world. Like what?
So we get back to the campsite, and we think we're gonna like shower up and then go out for the night. And it turns out as we're getting ready to go,
Where were you gonna shower then?
Well, it was a campsite, but it wasn't a campsite. It wasn't like how you'd go to an HO like a KOA or anything like that. It was like makeshift in a way, but they had restrooms and they had showers and they had this building that they had events in.
In Paris?
It was out like a little bit outside of Paris.
Okay.
So we had to take public transportation to get in and out of the city. And at that afternoon, we were like, oh, we'll go back into the city and we'll hang out.
Did anybody speak French that was with you?
No. Nobody spoke French that was with us. But around us, everybody spoke French. And when we realized that the public transportation had stopped running in that area, there was no way for us to get to Paris in the city, So we were like kind of stuck, and we had kind of drank all our bottles of wine that we'd bought earlier, and we were out of booze. And that wasn't going to fly for us at that point. So
is this a drunk giant walking story?
No.
No, remember the last time you did the podcast? Didn't you talk about...
No, it was with Carl. Carl did a drunk
giant walking story.
Yeah.
No, but I think he had one too.
I mean, when I get drunk...
Oh, yeah.
When I get drunk, I don't pass out. Or when I black out, I don't sit down or pass out. I do walk around. That's a true thing.
See?
But this was like we didn't know what to do. We were out of booze. We were eating like, I'm talking crackers out of a plastic bag that we had. That was our dinner. And then the that hall, that little like whatever that event place was, all of a sudden I hear music and I'm seeing people coming in. And they weren't like people out of the campsite, because we all looked like we would be camping, and these people looked like they were dressed to go to a nightclub. And so I'm like, I'm literally wearing ripped jeans and a dirty T-shirt and a hat, and I walk over to this girl who's checking off names, and I go, hey, what's going on in here? And she's like, oh, it's some MTV Paris thing. And I was like, what? I go, oh, well, I'm here with my two friends, and we'd like to go in. And she looked at me, and she was like, no.
She speaks pretty good English for.
Well, she spoke English. Yeah, she spoke English. So she
convenient.
Yeah, you guys are like a bunch of
in Europe,
real Columbos.
Hey, we have the courtesy to sit here and listen to your long ass story. You don't have the
Well,
courtesy to
it'd
treat
go
us
quicker
with
if you
respect.
stopped interrupting me. I'd be done already.
Okay, true.
So I'm talking to this lady. I'm like, hey, me and my friends want to go in. She says no. And I walk away defeated at first. Then I was like, you know what? I've got nothing else going on. So I walk back over to her and I go, look, here's what you can do. You can let me and my friends in, or I can stand here all night and just be annoying. And she goes, she's kind of like, she waits a second. She's like, all right, okay, I'll let you guys in, but just don't get super drunk. Don't be annoying. And I was like, oh, that's not what we do. We're not like that. We're from America. So we get in, and there's it's boxed wine literally lining this bar. And I just start filling up my cup, and we ended up tipping over a couple of these boxes and just finishing them. And there was dancing. So we're dancing, and there's women in sashes. And I can't even remember what the sashes say, but it was some sort of a pageant sash, but I don't know what it was. I think probably because I was hammered, but at a certain point, I'm dancing with a beautiful woman, and I'm noticing that everyone's laughing at me. Everyone around is laughing at me. Obviously, this isn't she's mocking. You know what I mean? I'm a joke at this point. So I look over. My friend does one of those Skippy Handelman things from Family Ties. He tries to cross his legs and he falls out of his chair. And I'm like, uh-oh. And the bouncer comes over and grabs him. And then he grabs my other friend and he goes, hey, are you with them? And I go, yeah. And the next thing I know, we're all being shoved out the back door. And then we were outside. And I was like, oh, I guess we got kicked out. So by that point, though, we were real drunk. My friends, I guess, went to the tent. And I woke up kind of around, there was this big metal garbage can sort of, feet, yards away from our tent. And I woke up on the ground, kind of curled around it. Not cuddling it, but around it. I can't.
Spooning?
You
Not
were
really.
spooning
I
a
was more
trash can?
if this was I was my body was I don't know. I can't really explain it. But so I'm like, oh man, I didn't make it to the tent. I was feet away from the tent. So I finally, I go to the tent and I get in and I go to get in my sleeping bag and I'm like, ooh, what smells like poo? And then I'm like, oh, was that me? And then so I run to the bathroom because I'm like, I think I shit my pants. And when I get to the bathroom, I have clearly shit my pants, but not in a messy way. Literally,
No,
I'm talking
not
I
at all.
sat on a brownie. That's what it looked like.
You sat on a dried brownie.
Yeah, well, yeah, and then it got worm, and then it got kind of mushy. But it wasn't like a runny mess or anything. It was like this. And so I was I didn't know what to do. So I was trying to figure out how to. I didn't have that many clothes with me anyway. And then all of a sudden, a janitor or a guy cleaning the bathroom will not stop banging on the door. He's like, hey, and he's not speaking English. And I'm like, yeah, I'm taking a shit. Get out of here. And he won't leave me alone. So finally, I just take off my underwear with the poop in it, and I just leave it on the. I'm out, and I just took off. And then I went to. I only had 2 pairs of pants, so I had to wash the pair of pants that I had just shit in. And the washer and dryer over there aren't very good. So I'm at this laundromat area, and we're washing. I'm washing. And my friend walks by, and he goes, "Oh, you drying your pants? Hey, can I throw my towel in there?" And I go, "You might not." And he opens the thing and throws the towel in the dryer. So I'm like, ooh, okay. And then the way we trap, when the stuff didn't dry all the way. So he takes his half-wet towel and puts it on the outside of his backpack. That we all had backpacks, and he goes to put his backpack on, and as he does, the towel swings around and hits him in the mouth, and he's like, "Oh my god, that smells like shit!" And I was like, "Yeah, I crap my pants," and that was pretty much it. That's the story. It's I crap my pants. My friend actually put it in his mouth by accident, and then I ended up wearing those pants again, and then losing a different pair of pants in Germany.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ.
That
it was
is
a good-
well-rounded fucking story.
It was a good trip. It was a good trip.
I just would like to point out he passed on the story where he took a shit in the alley.
Because that one everybody
He's
knows.
classy.
That's that one everybody knows. Because I'm classy. Because I'm trying to show some class, guys.
By the way, how can you sit on a dried out brownie and then have so much shit in your pants that it even after a wash a towel smells like shit? Not
Yeah.
to be a professional. Or
No, that,
That's a good. That's. I
not
think
only
that's
that, he was drinking wine or drinking whatever all night, and you mean to tell me you that had that solid of a poop?
I'm telling you, man, it was a brownie.
Then why? Then how can it be all over your pants
And
to the point? when
it wasn't
you had
all
to,
over my pants. It was
Uh-huh.
I had shit in them and I needed to wash them. I wasn't like, oh, there's poo everywhere. It was like, okay, I gotta I'm gonna wash this shirt
Uh-huh.
after I wear it because it'll probably have armpit sweat in it. You know what I mean? I do laundry. I like to have clean clothes.
Yeah.
So I was like, I only have 2 pairs of jeans. I can't just have
we
one.
understand that part, but
Oh.
we're just debating how much.
Yeah, if you threw the underwear
Yeah.
away and then you washed, even if it wasn't a very good washer, your pants wouldn't have smelled like poo, and it definitely wouldn't have then transferred it to a towel.
We should probably let Austin here go to the audience.
Well-
he looked at me like I got info.
Right off the bat, Dark Star says that sounds like John is full of crepe.
That is very good. That is very good.
Yeah. And Melody Martinez says, "Damn, old man Ron Weasley is really going hard in the store in the paint." And Michael in there said, "Snowplow man from Snow Day, yeah, really going after."
His name is Chris Elliott.
That's what I said. Yeah, we threw that.
What do you think, Michael?
I mean, I don't know. It's like I need to hear another story for sure because I mean,
This was 98, so it was so long ago that my like memory and my recollection, and I don't tell the story on stage, and it's not part of my set, so it's not.
Yeah, we can
it's
see
not-
why.
It's not as detailed as I was remembering it back then.
I saw somebody say in the comments about that something about box wine in Paris.
Yeah,
Bob. Is that-
Hostetter.
Did that seem out of place, or was that some sort of?
It was
Yeah,
like
good
it
point.
like the
Good
woman
point.
there who was letting me in was clearly spoke English, and everybody else inside, no one spoke English. So I don't know. Look, it was a weird. I can't even explain to you. It was like this weird camping area. It wasn't like in Paris. It was some random B room of
I
things
just can't
happening.
see.
I'm in so far,
MTV.
John. I believe it. So
No,
far.
I don't. I can't see MTV taking over a Woodman of the World building and doing something like that.
I
Like, that's
can.
just-
Really?
Really?
Yeah, when I back in the day, I don't mean to brag about my shitty comedy career.
like being in a moose lodge.
92, but
That's exactly
back in the
what it was
day,
like
they
being in a
would
moose
go.
lodge.
MTV would go to weird locations, and you would do comedy in a bunch of different weird places.
in a moose lodge.
No, I did it once on the beach. I did
Yeah,
it
that I
once in
get.
like.
But
yeah.
why would you go to Paris and then go to the outskirts of Paris?
Look, MTV
in a
Paris.
campsite?
MTV Paris. He said it's. Oh, you're talking about him or MTV?
It was in this building.
Uh-huh.
That's where MTV was. He says it's in this
Well,
building.
that's where this party was. I don't think they were basing the operations of MTV out of there. I mean, they can have an offshoot. And I've been to parties where, like, it's an NBC party. And you walk in, you go, what does NBC have to do with this? And you're like, we have NBC on the TV. And you're like, wait, what? And you know, I mean, it was just literally
Okay.
some random sash thing. It was like they were probably trying to beef it up by calling it MTV. I honestly don't know. I saw no cameras. I saw no evidence of a production of any kind.
Well, Ken Lofgren's big hang-up online is that you said you didn't have enough money to pay for a hostel in Paris, and he can't imagine going to a foreign country without enough money to have, stay in a hostel.
We'd been there for about a month at this point, wandering Europe, and I have no control over the way I spend money, so I spent like pretty much everything I had. When I got back to America, I went to an ATM, and I was like, oh, I still have $400 left. And then I looked at the receipt again, and it said negative $400. I was like, and this was before there were ATMs. So this was like, it wasn't before ATMs, but it was,
Did you guys have cell phones?
no.
How did you find out about this place out on the outskirts of Paris then?
Yeah, nobody spoke French.
No, people spoke French,
What?
Jessica.
No, he did. Not in
He-
his.
none of his
no.
people.
Oh, no.
Not in the Donner Party.
Also, if you go,
Sorry.
if you are American and you travel abroad, you'll find out that the American people are the dumbest, and most of us
Yeah,
don't speak multiple languages, whereas everyone
Yeah,
else, everywhere else,
a
speaks
lot of
at least
people-
Guess
two.
what? I've been to France.
Okay.
Whoa.
I mean, I'm not going to be able to show you on a map where the
Not
fuck
at
this
Epcot,
place
Jessica.
was.
Not the one at Epcot. The one.
I've been to
getting a
small.
plane.
It's a small world.
Oh my God, Jessica. Can you do that? I've been to France.
You should just say that to people regardless, unprovoked. Walk up to strangers. I've been to France.
Been to France, bitch.
Oh, well, la-di-da. Excuse me, Miss Cheese and Crackers.
Okay.
All right.
Anyway, we're going to move now on to Jimmy's first story.
Oh, man. I don't. Mine's about taking a shit.
No, is it?
No, it's
Okay.
We expected more from you.
not. Thank you.
Being a teacher and all.
Used to be.
Used to be.
Let's make that clear by the podcast because I'm not in the classroom anymore. So
Yeah, by the way, Jimmy Burns was my first comic friend here in Los Angeles when I first came to Los Angeles, very first, when I was doing open mics.
we should try to see how many open mics we could get in one night.
Yeah.
Westwood
Aw.
Comedy Store
Yeah,
was still
yeah.
available.
Westwood. Oh, the Comedy Store was still there. The Westwood.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
no,
wow.
no. It was right after that. It was, I think, right after that.
Never mind.
Okay.
Okay, that's my lie.
All right. So what's your story?
My story is on the road. It was late 80s, and working in Indianapolis, Comedy Connection, Mega Chicken Patty. Anybody work for them?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Megan Chicken Patty.
Okay, I
What'd
got to
you say?
explain it. You said that. Chick was the guy's name, the
Uh-huh.
husband. Patty was the wife's name.
Chicken patty.
And together, they would be Chicken Patty. And everybody would always go, who you work for? Chicken Patty. What? Anyway, they owned the Indianapolis Comedy Connection, which was downtown. And they eventually went to the Broad Ripple, which was in Broad Ripple part of Indianapolis.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So they were very cool because they really appreciated comics and they treated them civilized and all that stuff. They used to put us up in the Winter House.
Oh, I did play that gig.
Yeah. And remember, they
Yes.
got each comic their own studio apartment. And did you know this? Did you know this? Because I used to work there a lot. They were my favorites. They put each comic on a different floor
Uh-huh.
because they figured if the comics didn't get along, they would never see each other. And if they did get along, they would find each other.
That's smart.
Yeah, that's smart. So,
So this takes place in that club?
yeah, no, this takes place in the Winter House.
Okay.
Ooh, okay. So I'm getting ready for the show because, you know, we used to get rides. We'd go down the front door and I'm getting ready for the show. And I hear next door, I hear some laughing and then I hear a little screaming and then there's some banging around. And I'm going, well, there's a party next door, I guess. Who knows? Whatever. We go do the show. Come back from the show. Went to the, did they have the,
How did the show go? Did you do well?
I don't even remember. The show always went well in Indianapolis,
Okay.
unless it was a Sunday night.
All right. So you're in that house.
So we get dropped off at the front door
Uh-huh.
of the Winter House.
Okay.
And there's a coroner vehicle.
Uh-huh.
And I went, oh, that's next to my room. Being funny. Ha, 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 ha. And the comics, really? And I go up to the elevator and I go to my hallway and there's blood on each door on the hallway, up and down the hallway. You know,
They let you in?
yeah. Okay.
That's the
Or
same,
wait, what should I say?
That's the same
yes?
face she
No?
makes when she sees a guy.
She's
big.
been to Paris.
Well, I've been to Indianapolis.
Very similar.
Okay.
Very
Jesus,
similar.
Jessica.
No, what I'm saying is you come up the elevator, doors
Uh-huh.
open, and I step out in the hallway, and there's blood up and down the hallway on the doors.
Okay.
But she's saying the police actually let you in on a crime scene?
Well, yeah, oh, you know what? That's
even
interesting.
or like
Yeah,
even
that's
the
funny.
corner, maybe if it was like not an
Coroner pulled away. Coroner was.
Don't
pulled
give
away.
your story up no matter what, Jimmy Burns.
I'm not giving it
Okay.
up.
yeah.
Was there a lot of blood on each? Like, it's like a
Like a
handprint?
smear.
Yeah. Okay. All
Like
right.
a smear, not like drops of blood, not like. you
But
know,
like,
yeah, like and there was even on my door.
Uh-huh.
So I go in the door and it's weird, so I go to bed. But in the morning, there's a knock on my door, and I answer the door, and here's this young lady, not bad looking. Her jeans are half unzipped.
everything's coming up, Jimmy.
And she says, "Do you have any food?" Well, she said, "Do you have any food?" I went, "No, I really don't have any food." I'm next door, and the police said I have to stay here. I can't go out anywhere, and I'm hungry. I wondered if you had some food. And I went, no, I don't. And she said, "There's blood everywhere in my place." And I go, "Really?" And she went, "You want to come see the blood?" And I went, "No, I really don't." And then she went away.
You didn't ask her what happened?
No.
Jimmy Burns, the least inquisitive man of all time. There's blood everywhere. Oh, yeah, no, I'm out of food. All right, bye.
But I was, well, I was telling the other comics, like, hey, and somebody goes, did you fuck her? And I went, no.
No. Did you read about in the newspaper what had happened or
I-
anything? You ever find out? Like, I need to know this stuff.
No, I didn't. I'm sorry.
Did you tell the other comics?
Yeah.
And what did they say?
Did you fuck her?
Other than that, they didn't say anything?
Nope.
True.
Male comics want to know if you fucked a murder accomplice. Yeah, that's right.
Well, I mean, you're right. I can't believe what you're saying because it's true. Nowadays, the whole yellow tape would be.
Yeah, you wouldn't have been able to get back into the building.
This is before yellow tape,
floor,
guys.
let alone the building.
Right.
Before yellow
But
tape.
how long did you get there after the crime had happened?
We went to the they used to have a bar that we Point, the old Point.
Uh-huh.
So we used to go to the old Point. and
Oh,
have
the
drinks.
old Point.
The old Point.
I don't know, that sounds like a detail I wouldn't have remembered, but that's good.
Well, it's the old Point because it's on a triangular block. It comes to a point. The old Point. Oh, we used to go there and drink and eat, and it was great.
Yeah, the 3 days we were there, we used to go there all the time.
We were regulars by day 2.
Hey, I almost moved to Indianapolis.
Oh, really?
Well, there was a woman, of course.
Oh,
Was she covered
yeah.
in blood?
Yeah.
Hungry? Need something to eat?
Jimmy, did you stay there that night?
Yeah.
Man, my only hang up with this story being true or not is how little you seem to give a shit. Like,
And you were a teacher. You would be concerned.
He just shrugs
Fresh
like,
out of the classroom.
murder's going to
That's your
happen.
monkey, Jessica. No, teacher's monkey. You know what I
a
mean?
girl is like, do you want to come see the blood? And she runs away. You never see her again. And you're just like, this place is weird. And you just keep hanging out right next to where a murder might have happened.
Yeah.
Well, what
He's-
is he gonna do? He has probably no money if he's were you headlining in middle
Maybe
or
ask some
I was
questions.
featuring.
you were featuring? Yeah, you ain't got no money in
I got no money.
Indianapolis.
I had a
Yeah.
6-pack of Dr. Pepper and hot dog buns and a jar of peanut butter.
And you weren't giving that up to
And I
some
was going-
murder accomplice.
And I was hanging out at the old Point afterwards. There you could get all the food you needed.
Right.
Free hot dogs, bring your own
Oh.
buns.
Darkstar asks, was it Passover by chance?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they marked the doors.
They were taking your firstborn.
Oh, man. Oh, well, see, it
Do you have
turns
any
out
food or a firstborn?
they were looking for help. That's why all the doors were splattered. Not
What do you-
splattered, but
Yeah,
Oh,
they had
someone was
walked around the
looking-
hallway. Help
They
me,
were
help me,
knocking
help
on
me, help me.
help
Yeah.
me, help me, help me, help me. Yeah, that's how I found.
Did
I
you know-
did find that out.
That's
Real inquisitive.
That is so scary.
Real
That's
inquisitive.
eerie as shit.
Did you ever find out who the victim was or
No.
what the story was?
Or
Nothing?
do you even know that somebody even really died?
Well,
Well,
I
the
can
coroner
only-
doesn't usually show up for free
Maybe they
rides.
thought he was dead.
He wakes up in the thing.
Well, what I didn't understand, and this is what I could see why you would go, this ain't true, is because the cops just said she couldn't go anywhere. She had to stay there.
Which is weird. You wouldn't keep her in the murder scene,
Yeah,
would you?
no,
Like
you
that's
wouldn't.
because she could fuck with the
I'm not-
evidence and
she
like.
was a little weird too. You know.
Well,
Really? Oh, that doesn't seem nice.
She might have just been loopy because she's hungry.
Yeah,
Exactly.
maybe
She hadn't eaten anything.
Right.
she hadn't
You should
eaten-
see my wife when she hasn't eaten anything. It's crazy. She'd murder somebody. Maybe that's what happened. They ran out of cereal.
Well, I love that story, Jimmy Burns. That's
Really?
I mean, I don't love this,
It wasn't very
the
long.
Yeah,
things
murder's
in
great.
the story, but I'm just saying, like, that's a good, strong story.
It was just one of those things where you go, oh yeah, the corner of it, that's in next to my place, and then I go up and it
It
was.
is.
It just makes it sound like just one of them days
Well,
that a guy
I
goes
pretty
through.
much live and let live.
Live and let live, or don't inquire about anybody dying.
All
Hey,
right.
I'm minding my own damn business.
There you go. Don't
What are
don't
your
drag me into
thoughts, Austin? Anybody else saying anything online?
Nobody believes this story online. Lindsay says, did he just watch The Shining, maybe? None of this sounds real.
Right.
rum, red
So I'm running around. I got an axe. I'm chopping through doors. Here's Johnny.
The only reason why I would even think this is a true story because you're a pretty level-headed, emotional guy. Like from being,
Emotional level, like he's level.
Yeah, like he's like he.
Okay.
I've
Even
never
keel?
seen you. Yes, even killed. I never seen you like lose your shit or be like
I only lost my shit with Joe Napodi.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
And it went get around because people went, what did Joe Napodi do to piss you off?
I
Everybody's
know,
going,
yeah.
Jimmy Burns got angry? Lost his shit?
Yeah. So
Anyway.
that part. That's why I could believe that part of the story at least. I actually never. I'm thinking about someone else that had a club in Indianapolis and they had like a house that sometimes they'd put comedians in,
Oh, okay.
but it was a huge thing and yeah. So.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's move on to unless Michael, you have anything you would like to add.
I don't know. Again, I guess I just got to wait for another. That's pretty
Okay,
wild.
Yeah,
but,
so here we go. So, John, your second story.
It's much more recent. My wife works on the show Shark Tank, which is an ABC
I
show.
love that show.
Most people have that reaction, or I've never seen it, which is
Really?
my reaction. But
Season 10.
You never
Yeah.
watched it?
I've seen an episode.
Okay.
Point is, my wife works on that show, and they were nominated for an Emmy. And the way the Emmys work, if anybody doesn't know, there's the primetime Emmys that were on last night, and then last weekend they have 2 nights of Emmy awards that go out to the people that are sort of behind the scenes. They
Didn't you post a picture about you
Probably,
guys?
yeah, probably. And they call a lot of people call them the Nemmys, like the nerd Emmys, because it's like the technical stuff, But they also do like some of the actors get Emmys at that point. Like Norman Lear was there, whatever. But so we went to the Emmys, and Shark Tank we kind of didn't think was going to win because they were up against Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, which is a very popular show. And when Shark Tank,
I don't think it's called that anymore.
it's just
but
called
go ahead.
Queer Eye.
No,
It's called Queer Eye?
It's now on Netflix, and
It's not called For the Straight Guy anymore, though.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's just
it's-
called Queer Eye. Okay, so Queer Eye. Sorry.
They've opened it up.
Leah said real quick his wife is Mark Cuban, just so everybody knows.
Yes.
That's right. My wife owns the Dallas Mavericks, and that's why I dress like this. So we went and there was kind of like not a lot of thought that they were going to win, but then they sat us kind of close to the stage, and I was like, well, that might mean something because last year we sat in the back, I mean, now we're like right there, and we were up around like all like RuPaul's Drag Race crew and a bunch of other different reality shows.
Oh,
that
wow.
we kind of I knew some of the people that had worked on all this stuff, so I knew some of the people in the area. And then the awards happen, and then there's the governor's ball afterwards, which is just the Microsoft Theater. It's literally across the street, and they basically take
You
over.
said the awards happened, so did you win?
No, they
I know.
didn't win.
I was just thinking, Michael Evans, are you getting enough of this second story to see that every story has lots of details from Jon Huck?
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
definitely. I figured that
Yeah.
out by now.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure where we're gonna land on this one.
Oh,
Are you
well,
gonna shit your pants soon, or what's gonna happen?
there is
My wife won.
not my pants, but there is a dump involved, I guess. But what happened at the governor's ball? There's like open bar and all this food and everything. You can walk around and there's just a ton of food. And I'm not drinking currently, so I'm like gonna have to take advantage of this somehow. So if I can't, drink all the booze, I'm gonna eat all the food. So I'm eating as much as I can, but realizing I'd also been kind of eating all day. So at a certain point, I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom. And you go out the back, and the way it's set up, and I honestly don't know how the primetime Emmys are set up, but these Emmys have like a section that's walled off with like fake bushes, and the porta potties are sort of behind these bushes. So you walk through this little thing, and you're in the toilet area. And the porta potties were nice. I shouldn't even call them porta potties because like a porta potty is like a little hovel. You get in and it just smells like shit, and then you got to get out as fast as you can. These were like bigger. They were like, it was like a movie star trailer toilet.
I've been in a nice porta potty.
I know. Thank you for describing porta potties for all of us.
In case no one's had to take an emergency dump
They're called
at a fish concert.
It's called a luxury loo. A luxury loo. That's what they called it.
That's exactly what these were. They were obviously clearly trailers that were towed in and then placed in this section. Okay. They were very nice. Somebody was maintaining them the whole
You
night.
like to describe an outside area. I'll give you that, motherfucker.
So I'm just wanting everyone to know they're not like right outside the back door. Everyone's hanging out. So I go, and in my head, I assume all the people that are a name or some sort of celebrity are using a different toilet. So I go in, and I am usually really good about this. I usually lock the door. And I thought I did. But this was set up to the point where, like, sink, toilet, but then the door is probably a little like where the lock would be, where I could hold it closed if I had to, where I could get to it, probably a little past, like close to you, but not anything I could reach from a sitting position. So I'm doing my business, and I'm getting rid of the food that I ate, and I could almost touch Jimmy's nipple, and all of a sudden RuPaul walks into the bathroom where I'm taking a shit.
Lucky are you?
Just like, and I'm like, no, occupied. And it was just like, I mean, I don't know how much RuPaul everybody watches, but it was I would expect nothing.
What was RuPaul dressed in?
He was like
at the Emmys?
it was similar to what it was like a suit with a bow tie. Like he had like.
And why would he be at the one that was for people behind the scenes?
Oh, his show won a ton of.
they won.
They won best reality competition show. They won the kind of awards that are not given out at the primetime. He was there with his crew and the people that he works with to accept those awards as well. He got up and he spoke at that one
Didn't
too.
Norman Lear, you mentioned him, he won some kind of lifetime.
He got a lifetime
like,
achievement
something,
award
yeah.
at the primetime Emmys. They
But
brought him
right-
out, but
yeah.
the Creative Arts Emmys
I
on
saw that,
night
yeah.
one, he was there sitting like 4 feet in front of me. Norman Lear's a huge deal in my opinion.
Yeah.
And he's like 97 or something
Yeah.
crazy. But anyway, so my story is RuPaul accidentally walked in on me taking a duty, and then very polite, closed the door, got out of there. It was like, and then like gone.
So Shark Tank did not win.
Shark Tank did not win. Is that we're all gleaning from this? Thank you. Yes. No. Shark
Yeah,
Tank
well,
didn't
why
win.
did you give that piece of that little nugget in the
So
beginning?
I could explain to you why I was at the Creative Arts Emmys. I didn't just walk in and
You
start
didn't need
taking
to say,
dumps.
we're set up front, though. Like, that was...
Hey.
We didn't need
Take
any
a
of
breath.
that.
Take a breath. It's okay.
No, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Like, if this is extra detail, why were you buffering it?
Oh, I don't know. I just thought that was. I thought it was.
saying it like that. All right, I thought you were giving him.
Oh man, I could have
No.
just because my story would have been
'Cause if
3
it was a
seconds long.
lie-
I went to Creative Arts Emmys. I took a dump. RuPaul walked in.
No, yeah, I thought that felt
And
like
it's
natural.
true.
Well, I don't need to do the recap now, I guess. My one job, thank you.
I mean, to me, the some of the interesting stuff is in the details, but I mean, that's just me.
Yeah, no, I thought that felt like casual conversational detail. I don't think that
explain-
sounded
it was-
like bullshit.
No, but he started off with this whole thing of like where they sat and all this.
Oh,
like,
I
well,
think I was
maybe
just
we
saying that
did
because I thought we were
win.
going to win, and I was trying
Yeah.
to point out how close
And then
I
you didn't
was
even
to.
say if you won or not. We had to ask.
Oh, because I thought everyone knew. I thought
No, I
everyone
don't-
pays. Thought everyone pays attention. My bad. My bad.
Lindsay Worth did back Mike up online and said, this story sounds smooth. It doesn't seem like he's trying to remember a lie script.
Well,
I feel like this
here's
was
what, here's
A
what always,
live script.
here's what always gets me when there's.
I typed these out. Memorize.
I can already feel this coming where people online are going to go, this one felt natural, like he's recalling something, and the other
I don't
one
think it
felt.
did.
It also
If
just
it- no,
happened
but
2 weeks ago.
If you think the last one is a foggier story, it's like, well, we never really give credit to the fact that it was a long fucking time ago, and he was drunk as shit in the first story.
Thank
so
you.
I don't really know how to decipher whether that was
Thank
clear
you.
or not.
But he was sober when he washed his pants. So
Yeah, he was just full of food.
You're right. That was a situation that was.
at the Creative Arts Emmys, I was just full of food.
Mm-hmm.
In Paris, I was full of boxed wine and
right.
poops.
And as a young man, why were you drinking wine instead of like
That's
beer?
all they had in there. And we were out of booze.
Probably the only honest
But no,
thing
you
you said
said
all night.
No, because before they even went into that thing, he said like in the tent or wherever they were set up there for camp, that they were drinking wine, and all of a sudden they were out of wine.
We drank we had 2 bottles. We drank the 2 bottles we'd had.
Exactly. Why did young men go buy wine?
I think because we were in Paris and we were like, is this what you do? The same reason I walked around. The same reason I passed out on the Piccadilly Circus steps because I thought you were supposed to.
Melody Martinez says that Shark Tank producer's husband's first story is true and second is a lie. Already got a vote.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
All right. Well, let's move
Curious.
on to Jimmy's. I love it, though. Let's move on to Jimmy's second story.
All righty. Well, the ex-teacher, I got a teacher story.
Okay.
Yeah.
And first, I think they're gonna say I'm buffering the story, but
Yeah, now I'm afraid to give detail on anything. Just like keep it quick.
Well,
No, but that's
Hurry
a lot
up.
of details.
well, all I'm just saying, I want this on the
The
record.
Yeah.
Thank you. The brain doesn't work like you. I want it on the record that I used to be an elementary school teacher, work with little children, and Felicia, you already said it. What takes tough to upset me, and it upsets me when I'm setting up some material on stage and somebody hollers, "What are you, gay? You work with kids?" And you go, "What does that have to do with that? What are you doing?" And if you like kids, it's pedophilia,
Yeah, not
has nothing to do with-
homosexuality.
and it just makes me mad. I can't even.
So gay. I love kids.
Michael thought that was really funny. I could hear Michael's laugh through the wall.
Well, I'm just because I want.
That's some buffering, all right.
Because I'm saying, it makes me mad, and I can't be funny about it. And because I think anybody who breaks the trust, like a priest or a teacher with a child, should be hung. and
Oh yeah, they're
usually
pieces
very-
of shit. For sure.
Exactly.
Okay,
I'm
so
saying-
what did you do?
How did you get hung, Jimmy? How'd you get hung?
But I'm saying,
I'm waiting for it too.
after all that, what I'm saying is there's not necessarily not having sex in schools, because as a male in the elementary education, even in college, 85% of the students and 85% of the faculty was women,
Uh-huh.
prime women.
Amazon
gentle
Prime
women.
Young ladies who have hope and we're trying to save the world with their classrooms. And I'm just saying, you're a guy. And we're talking when I was young and I had a reason to have a comb.
Uh-huh.
And I was like 40 pounds
Yeah,
thinner.
you're cutie pie.
Thank you.
Was he?
Elephant.
He's cutie pie. yeah.
Elephant bells,
He's
wearing
cute now.
clogs.
Yeah.
Thank you. So anyway, I'm just saying, I was something. Is the key word.
He's
So
never
any-
understood when people are playing along. So get to the story,
Jimmy doesn't understand sarcasm. He's learning.
It sounds like a children's book. Little Jimmy.
And at the end, it's like, and everyone was just being sarcastic. Oh, this book sucks.
Oh, we didn't have sarcasm in Nebraska.
It might not have. It's legit. Like everything you said, take serious.
Okay.
Gullible.
All right.
All right, so get to the story.
Uh-huh.
All right, so I'm not saying I never hooked up with teachers. Why would you go after children when you got these teachers right there?
Right.
But once upon a time, one year, this young mom She was giving me lots of attention, and because it turned out she later, as the year went on, she had a conference, and she's, you know how when women touch your shoulder, you know, yeah, of course you do.
Arm touches,
and then a thigh touch when you go, oh, what's going on? You've been so good to my daughter. She was in public school last year, and now we were worried about her, Tiffany, and now she's blending in, and she's doing really well, and.
Wow, she really wanted you to teach her daughter how to read.
So I'm saying, to get to the end, she pleasured me orally in
a classroom.
In the classroom.
During the parent-teacher conferences?
No.
Oh.
When?
After school.
After school?
Like school, the kids
when
go
there
home
was still lights up and outside?
Wait,
where was her kid?
Yeah.
Dad had the kid at soccer because you always get. This was a private school in Encino.
Were they divorced or married?
They were married.
Oh,
get out of town.
This sounds like an 80s porn.
Oh,
It is. It was in the 80s.
It was a porn I watched. I mean, it's a true story.
You got to remember, I'm just overwhelmed. I'm supposed to have discipline and all that, but I'm coming from Omaha, Nebraska, and I'm teaching in Encino, and there's money everywhere. And this mom has, the old Mercedes that Richard Gere drives, and
right, the little one, right?
Yeah,
with the
American Gigolo,
yes,
and I'm just like, I'm just having a great time, and then she's really attractive, and
all right. So how many times did that happen?
just once. But you know what's good about it?
Well, did you have to turn her down again later, or
No.
Or did she pull her daughter from your class?
No, but she dripped a little bit, and on the floor was this drip mark, and it was there the rest of the year, and I would have a bad day, and I would just look down and have a smile.
There's my jizz. Hi.
I was trying to do it more civilized.
No, I'm sure you didn't say it out loud.
All right, that story is so true.
Yeah, Leah concurs and said that Murr from Impractical Joker seems to be telling the truth. And Mike, back in the control room, said that, one of Jeff Dunham's puppets is also telling the truth.
I've been confused for
The racist old man puppet.
We've had 2 weeks off of
Walt.
nobody naming anybody for
Yes,
some
yes,
reason, so
thank
it's
you.
nice to
Walter.
have a
It's
return.
Walter. I've been
Walter.
Walter. Wait a minute, I can do it even better.
Okay.
Wow. Impressive.
That is pretty fucking impressive.
Just doing puppet impressions is something that's not a market out there right now.
People
You
that
got
are
the
only
first.
listening could see because it's right on the mark.
I could sit on your lap, John, and we can. You
Yeah,
can be the
I can
Dunham.
put my hand up your.
Boom. Hello.
All right, so that is. What do you think, Michael Evans? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I like how it worked out for him. If the story is true.
Of course you did.
I mean,
It was to completion. Good job.
I mean, early in the stories that he worked with kids, so I thought he was gay. So
Yes. So many gay people with the kids.
I did
Yeah,
too
like-
in 1985.
I don't know. It sounds pretty true, and I'm really rooting for 80s Jimmy here.
80s Jimmy. Oh, 80s Jimmy was good.
80s.
Encino Man, the original. It's just a quick 10-minute.
Hostetter said, trifling but true.
Yeah, but I want to know what happened after that. Was
Yeah.
there awkwardness between you guys?
Yeah.
Did you just go back to normal? Like, give me
How
something here.
does that?
It was
how
towards
does
the
that
end
stop?
of the season.
But how does
Season?
The old school season. We had a record of 45-6. Couldn't be undefeated, but
I left the private school to go to LA Unified because there was more money in benefits.
the
Because
benefits
at
were
the
more
school in
blowjobs.
Encino, we shouldn't name the school.
Yeah,
They
I
had
believe all
benefits.
that, but
I
tell
was
me,
getting $1,000 a month, and then I went to.
I
LA
believe all that. I
Unified.
don't want to know about your
No,
money.
but yeah.
I need to know about the connection with this woman. What
Right.
happened?
Yeah, like did you guys avoid eye contact? Were you hopeful that she would come back into the
Yes,
classroom?
I was
Obviously you
hopeful.
were, but did it hurt your feelings when she kind of avoided you?
How did
Did you ever see
feel?
the husband?
This is the thing about.
Do you
the
regret
school.
eating asparagus that night?
How much pineapple do you consume?
Why didn't she
I'm saying-
get on it anymore?
It was weird. I was just happy.
Did you have to give her daughter like an A? Did you up the
Yeah.
kids
No.
grade? No, you didn't. Was the kid an idiot?
No, she
Oh.
was wonderful. Tiffany, she was very sweet.
You said it was the end of the season, but did
End
you
of the
just never
season.
see her again?
Well, I left at the next beginning of the school year because to go to LA.
Oh, that was your
Unified.
last year at that school.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that
gotcha.
was the last day?
No, it was like the last week.
So did you see her again?
No.
Did you see the little girl again?
You know what? I did. She came up. This is weird.
Okay.
We're working
This is where it gets creepy.
And then 25 years later, I got a blowjob from the kid.
I'm working with Bruce Baum in Malibu.
Oh, wow.
And
you might be right.
And I do my teacher stories because on stage I do the teaching
Right.
classroom and all that stuff and all this. And so after the show, this very attractive young lady walks over and goes, "I have something weird to ask you." Okay, go ahead. Did you teach at? And she names the school, and I went, "Yeah." She
Did
goes,
my mom kiss
"No."
you?
She didn't.
Did you eat asparagus in
No.
September 17th,
She
1985?
said, "You were my teacher," and I went, "Whoa! I can show you a picture if you
Was
want."
it Tiffany?
It was Tiffany.
I think
Wow.
we're alone now. Doesn't seem to be anyone around.
She's like 40 years old, and it's amazing because whoa.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
It was like, and Bruce, and it's funny because
Was he smoother back then?
No.
This is par for the course? Hot
No,
stuff. Hot
that was
stuff.
probably a highlight. That was probably. I don't mean to hurt
Let's
your
just say
feelings,
this didn't
Jimmy,
happen
but that
a
was
lot
probably
to
top
Jimmy.
10 highlight of his life for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, so this is what I thought was weird about it because she goes, "I have something weird to ask you," and Bruce and the other guy, the comics, lean in like, "What the hell?"
I know.
You were my teacher. Anyway, yeah, I did see her. I saw her that
Yeah,
time at the
okay.
show.
Wow. Wow.
Well,
Interesting.
I meant for the rest of the season, school season. Did
Yeah, I
you
know.
teach the kid again?
No. Well, I mean, after that year.
But you
After
said
the
that, you said
events.
there was
Yeah.
a week left.
Yeah,
There was a week left. So
You know, it was
did
part
she?
of
Was the
time.
little girl still in your class
Yeah,
for that week?
Yeah.
So every
So
time
every
you
time-
saw the kid,
yeah.
were you like, "Tell your mom I said hi"?
Really?
I had the most home mothers in the back of my classroom.
Yeah, but you're not answering the question.
I did. Yeah, she was there. I just smiled, and that was it. You're right. It was a highlight. Why go? I won.
Okay. All right.
A lot of people get
All right.
calendars and books, and I got a blowjob.
There you go.
Okay, there you go. Any other comments here?
No, I think everybody is pretty much thinking this one could be true. Leah said that she actually did a tambourine dance to the song in a music video at a fair, so she thinks that's a sign that this must be a true story.
A tambourine. Wait, what?
To the song, to the song we
go
were
with
just
it.
singing.
Oh, I
don't
think
know
we're.
what it was.
I think we're alone now. Oh.
When I'm home, I don't want to run errands or have to figure out a meal plan, especially because I have kids. That's why Blue Apron is a great solution. Their chef-designed recipes are easy to follow and give you a balanced, delicious meal. Blue Apron is a quick and easy way to make high-quality meals that everyone can enjoy. Use promo code LIARS to get $30 off your first order. Blue Apron, take back dinner. Michael Evans, any last thoughts?
I'm excited for the recap. I
All
got
right.
some sorting out to do.
Okay, let's see what the recap is. Here you go, Austin.
All right, for John's first story, he was trapped in Paris with some guys he took a dump in a Munich, Germany alley with, and they were going to see Jim Morrison's headstone. They were camping and planned to go out. They couldn't go, so
If
while
you
they
regurgitate every one of his fucking facts, I will lose my
were
shit.
a little bit lengthy. They couldn't go out, so they're stuck at the campsite. They notice people going in this auditorium, and he speaks to a girl that just so happened to speak fluent English, and they convince her to let them into this party. They go in, drink some box wine. They get shoved outside. He passes out and then finds out that he pooped his pants when he wakes up, and then smacked his buddy with the turd towel after that.
Turd towel. That's
No,
nice.
his buddy smacked himself with it.
With the
No,
turd towel.
no, he didn't say it was an auditorium.
But
Was it?
No, but I think they're just trying to put together what it could possibly. It was just basically like an empty hall that they had just
like a hurricane shelter, basically, like a
Well,
big
I
old
mean,
empty building.
a little bit. There was like a bar, and then just
They didn't have it decorated.
It was
the party?
like almost like a school dance from like a TV show where you'd like it just streamers, but like hung up. Nothing looked professional.
Okay.
That I can remember. Also, again, drunk walking in, blacked out leaving.
Yes.
For his second story, his wife works on Shark Tank, and they were nominated for a Nerd Emmy. So they sat him close up to the stage at the ceremony up near RuPaul and them. And after they go to the governor's ball, where he's hit with a surprise poop, he goes and finds some fancy porta potties, and then RuPaul invites himself in the bathroom, and then won an Emmy over Shark Tank after that.
Well, yeah, not
Insult
over.
to
We weren't in the same category. Wasn't it?
Really rubbed salt in the wound there.
Yeah, that was good. Perfect. Whatever.
All right. What's your vote, Michael Evans?
I think that my vote is, God, both stories sound pretty reasonable. I think my vote is that I think the one that is a lie is the first story.
I think the second story is a lie because of the whole first part of the where he's sitting and stuff. That
Well, I think all that's fine and true. I just don't think RuPaul walked in. I think he saw RuPaul there, and they were like right next to RuPaul, and somebody probably walked in.
That's
maybe
true
not RuPaul.
because either one of those was a add-on, like
Yeah.
after the fact, either the first part or the second part.
If he hadn't mentioned RuPaul when they sat down and then said that RuPaul was the one to walk in, I would have been like, if it even said anybody else walked in on you, I probably would have believed it. But because it's back to back, I'm going with that one being the lie.
Okay.
Wait,
So
you're going with RuPaul being a lie?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, that's what I
And
think.
you're going with the first
I'm
story.
going first story being a lie.
Do you guys have to agree?
No, but
Oh.
I just
Jimmy.
get regretful when I'm the
Yeah,
only
yeah.
one not doing something.
By the way, we're not all good at this game.
Nobody is consistently good ever.
And Jimmy, what do you think? Which one do you think is the lie?
You're not getting a blowjob if you get it right.
Okay.
It's okay, he's gay.
That opens up the options.
Leah said that he looked down a lot during the first story's recap, so that could be a telltale sign. That,
Yeah,
He
you know,
did.
I thought also too when you were telling that first story, you were looking towards Jimmy like, yeah, you get what I'm like. You had this look on your face that you did the first story to Jimmy that you didn't do on the second story.
Whoa.
It's
So,
true. He looked at us more on the second story. It was more like he was with us.
Yeah.
But maybe he just got comfortable.
All right, I say RuPaul's true and Europe's a lie.
You think Europe's a lie, huh?
Well, I think part of Europe is true because I think he told a story once in Italy. Something bad happened in Italy.
No, I told, but it's Germany.
Okay.
It was literally the week after that. Like my friend was like, "That's the worst thing that'll happen to you," and I was like, "Haha!" And then we got to Germany.
Oh,
He
was
was
he the
like,
one with the bridge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. The
The Germany story where I shit in the alley and then I walk and then the guy's like, "Hey, dude, don't
Okay,
walk
okay.
through the river."
All right. Don't, let's not do that. Okay. And I mean that sweetly. So I think that part of the first story is true, but it was all over the place. I'm gonna say the second story is true, even though it's too convenient. So the first story is a lie. How many people first story lie? Raise your hand.
most people online are going what do I think?
You
I think the first story's true. Most people online are actually going with y'all.
Yes.
Like almost everybody online.
Wait, what's
actually.
Kenneth doing? What did Kenneth say?
I'm trying to look here, but he did say, "Let it be known I am terrible at this game." Huck, first lie,
Yeah.
second true. Ken Lofgren said.
Okay. So what is the lie?
The lie is RuPaul walking in me.
Yeah. Okay.
Damn it,
I
dude.
suck at this game.
If I go,
Well,
I know my drag queens, baby.
but the whole thing is like literally that France pooping story is so long ago that some of it is real hazy, but I gave it as the best shot.
Yeah,
I
but
could.
they
That's
all,
good.
even though as fucked up and crazy as they were all over the place, but they still connected. That second story,
You didn't think that was necessary for me to talk about.
no.
Trying to get my wife a plug. What's the problem?
It wasn't necessary, and you didn't even give us the outcome, so it didn't make any sense. If you were going to tell us, like, oh, they did win or they didn't win, okay then.
Yeah, maybe I should have. Well, because I just thought about that this afternoon, and I looked at my wife and go, "I'm going to say RuPaul walked in me taking a dump." She goes, "Ugh, don't do that." And I go, "I'm going to do that."
That is hilarious. All right, recap Jimmy's stories.
All right. It was the 80s, and he's working for Chicken Patty in Indianapolis, and he's at the winter. He's at their winter house to see a coroner vehicle, and this coroner vehicle happens to be at his room, where there's blood splattered throughout the halls, but he just nonchalantly goes to bed and totally ignores it, which makes me think it's a lie. Until a good-looking pants half unzipped crazy woman knocks on the door asking for food and wanted him to come see the blood in her room. And I'm leaning towards that one being the lie. But story 2, he used to work as an elementary school teacher for totally non-malicious reasons, and he did hook up with some prime girls, prime girl teachers. And one time, this hot married MILF came in and gave him mouth love after school let out, and he left his mark on the carpet to be immortalized in Encino forever.
I love how you put that.
I know. I was just thinking, I fucking hate the term mouth love because you're talking about the same act, like like blowjob is just not even that bad of words together.
It was more an intimate situation. I could see in his eyes that it was more of a mouth love than just a job.
It was a career.
That was Austin telling me to fuck off. Like, look, bitch.
This is hard. I want to believe that you got a blowjob.
I also want to believe that's what she said when you pulled it out. Aw, thank you.
Oh, now she's like, now I gotta commit. What grade was the little girl in?
5th grade.
5th grade. Okay.
Everybody online is saying second story is the lie so far, but I'm still sticking with the first story.
I don't know.
Wait,
yeah.
second story was the blowjob, right?
Right.
Yeah.
He got the beach, dude, for
Yeah.
sure.
I think so.
Yeah, I think that first story is just a little too wild. I think something like that may have happened. I think maybe some shit's gone down that he could have kind of compiled to make this story. Like, shit's gone down, I mean, in places you've stayed on the road.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like he probably walked up on a murderer scene at a hotel, but they didn't let him in. You know, they
Right.
still had
Yeah.
crime tape in the '80s.
Yeah,
I think I wasn't there, but
Yeah,
And
I'm
he
pretty
did
sure.
throw in the old corner bar.
The old
you know?
point.
Yeah.
You know, you got an old
Yeah.
point there.
But he did say the drip too.
Yeah, it's a fun story, but there's too many, like, why the fuck would that have gone down like that things. When in a similar era, right, is when the blowjob thing went down. That all checks out to me.
Did you clean the blood off the door?
Somebody else did. Somebody came through the next day and cleaned it up. It didn't happen in my room. It happened in the next door room. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I didn't want to mislead you when you said the crime scene. I got in. No, you're right. The hallway was a crime scene because there was blood on each door, but it happened next door. And somebody came by the next day and cleaned up.
Lindsay Worth is chiming in, says that the bloody wall story is a lie, but says the mom Slurpee, totally true.
I'm gonna say Mom Slurpee is a lie, and I'm only gonna say that because I think maybe it wasn't a crime scene in the first story. I don't think it was a crime scene. Maybe just the guy was diabetic and hit a vein. I don't know.
And then ran door to door to make sure everyone got a piece.
Or he was headlining Halloween weekend or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was two people that just came from a Guar concert, and they were just wiping the...
So maybe it was just like an unfortunate event, and then somebody came and cleaned it up the next day, like he says. Oops.
Leah thinks that the blowjob story is a lie for no particular reason, but Dark Star says that 5th grade fellatio is false.
So he agrees.
Well, first of all, I hate the word fellatio.
What word for penis job do you like?
No, just because my name is Felicia and everything.
Oh.
Yeah.
I can't believe everyone just went, oh! Like, you didn't figure, like, I was like, yeah, I can see why you'd hate that.
I had no idea.
I really didn't either. You knew that already?
Well, when she said, yeah, I mean, her name is Felicia. She said, I don't like Felicia. It's probably because she got made fun of when she was a little kid.
Felicio.
Yeah.
Felicia.
As soon as you learn that word in grade school, it's like, that means putting dicks in a mouth.
All right, we are going off the tracks. Here's the thing. I know you met a girl that had been your student on a gig because I think you tell that part of the story in your act, right?
Yes, I do.
See, I'm paying attention.
You are
Jimmy,
paying
yeah.
attention.
So that part I believe, but that could also just be a tag. And Tiffany was a big name in the 80s.
It was.
Yeah.
But if she was in 5th grade, what year was this?
I want to say 1982. 1982.
1982.
So that's before Tiffany broke out.
Yeah,
Right.
but her name was Tiffany. And so I think a lot of girls
Yeah.
were named Tiffany at that time.
Well, I was born in '84,
Uh-huh.
and
Your middle name's Tiffany.
Your middle name is Tiffany?
no,
Okay. Sorry. I'm gonna say the first story is a lie. The blowjob story is true. I know I'm wrong though. I know I'm wrong.
I don't think the blowjob is true.
But you're the one that said the tape on the crime scene.
Yeah,
There
but
was
I
no
don't think it
tape.
was a crime scene. I think maybe he was just throwing that, saying it was. Maybe he thought it was a crime scene, but I don't think it was. Or there would have been police. He would have said there was not just a corner there. He would have said there was police and lights
Yeah,
and
but
all
if
kinds
it's
of.
a,
Well,
if the coroner's there.
If the coroner's leaving, that means everyone else is already gone because the coroner is the last one to show up, and then
Yeah, what time did you leave that place
Well-
and what time did you come back?
I'm-
What was
my-
the span of
My
time?
guess is we probably came back about 12:30. Midnight. After
Uh-huh.
midnight.
And what time did you leave?
Probably usually get picked up at 7:30 for the 8 o'clock show. So you do the show and then you go to the Old Point.
can't get enough of that old point, huh?
I'm just saying, if you're trying to figure out why it took so long,
Right.
it's because
The
you
Old
didn't
Point.
just go back.
Slow service.
Old Point.
All right, I'm gonna say the first story is a lie and the blowjob story is true because you were a cutie pie and you were a cutie pie.
Do we have to say it's so past
I
tense?
know.
No,
You used to be a
No.
guy that could definitely, I could see maybe a passerby winking in your direction or something.
I'm sorry, Jimmy, but I mean,
I know.
we're around the same age.
I know.
Not really,
Hey.
but sort of.
Wait, so what are the votes? I gotta know which one. I think the blowjob happened.
I do
think the
too. I think the
blowjob
blowjob
happened, yeah.
happened. I think
Yeah.
the first one is.
I'm with that.
And the reason I believe it happened is because she never talked to you again. That's why. I think, and no, as a mom, I think you would do something that, and then that night
Never.
you'd be like, I was
Whoops.
really pissed at my husband. I can't let that slip, that
Have you ever
behavior
been
slip out again.
Well,
Have you ever been so happy with a teacher? One
Oh.
of your kid's teachers?
My kid
that
is
you-
learning so much.
Yeah.
It was more
That
than-
wasn't a happiness blowjob. That is, I'm mad at my husband blowjob.
Well, it was Encino, and the kids would look a little goofy, and you'd see the mom, and mom is drop dead gorgeous, and then you'd see the dad, and he was out making all kinds of cash and just kind of,
Yeah.
Yeah.
worn hard. So, yeah, it was she was slumming it, and she was pissed.
Yeah.
And the way he's saying the story is creepy.
Well, it's a creepy story. He's creepy.
Like,
you know?
but the first story wasn't creepy, and now he just kept,
It wasn't
Yeah.
creepy how he told the first story
No.
without any fucking emotion. No, about it's terrible. That didn't frighten
And
you.
then the police asked me my whereabouts, and I was uncooperative. Okay.
All right, so everyone that thinks a blowjob story is true, raise your hand. Michael, all right, so it's us 4 against you 2, and what about online?
It seems to be split right down the middle.
Okay, so which story is the lie?
The lie
Yes.
is the blowjob.
Really? Really?
Hey, wait, were you ever blown by?
Wow.
Were you ever blown by a parent as a teacher?
Were you ever
As a
blown?
parent? No.
Oh, that's so you know what, man? I wanted that to be true for us. One of us should blow you right now.
I'm
Jessica.
telling you, the way he
Whoever
was
brings
telling
it up
that second
does, Michael.
story was like, yeah.
Yeah, because it's Jimmy talking about the time he got his dick sucked. Of course he's like, yeah.
Jimmy's the cleanest comic on the planet Earth.
More importantly, what the fuck happened at that house you were staying at with all the blood?
Yeah, well, I mean,
I never really. It was just
Wow.
was the
hey.
coroner really there?
the coroner was really there.
Well, that's
Pulled
insane.
away when we walked
And you're
up.
like, haha, okay, I'm going to go to bed now.
yeah.
Blood on my door. Yeah.
Wow.
Apparently, you didn't watch a lot of horror movies in the 80s. You're like going upstairs to investigate things. Like,
Like you, I recounted everything I could remember, but it'd been a long time ago.
Yeah.
But it sounds weird because you're right. There shouldn't have been able to go up on the floor. let
but
alone-
unless,
Right.
unless
Unless
like
it
what you said,
wasn't-
it's not a crime
It wasn't a crime scene.
There was an incident. They sort of. But if the coroner's there, somebody died. So if somebody died and they're telling this woman she had to stay somewhere.
Yeah, but how do we know it wasn't a dog?
Ah.
I mean, we don't know.
Yeah, because corners come out.
Because it
for
came
the
out
dog.
supposedly she
the coroner would go, can you just go
No,
bury that
Austin,
behind the
right?
hotel?
Am I wrong? Am I
It
wrong?
came out.
All right.
She was
So
the one that
somebody
was going
died.
up and down the hallway, beating on
All
doors,
right.
looking for help and stuff.
So
What if
she
it was
was
an old person?
Maybe it was someone who tried to kill themselves or something.
Hey, wait a
Yeah.
minute. Maybe I could Google it.
No, we're
Murder
not
in
allowed
the
Not
to
during the
Murder
show.
in the-
Not
Well, I
during
guess
the
you could now.
No, I mean
Well-
after the show.
You guys
Don't worry, I'll be
were
googling it for sure.
Indianapolis.
Murder in the Winter House.
Near the old corner point.
yeah.
Don't forget that detail.
Yeah, gay feature comic staying downstairs.
Gay featured child molesting comic.
Yeah.
That's the headline. The murder is like second. Like, oh, interesting.
All
Okay,
right.
you Google that. I'll Google teacher blowjob.
Okay.
All right.
I'm sure you'll get a lot more fun
I'm
images
sure it's not
on
the
your
first
end.
time,
Kidding.
Austin. Anyway, so anyway,
Pornhub pops up.
I'm having a lot of fun today, and I want to thank you guys for coming on the podcast and being most excellent guests. Don't you think, Jessica?
Yes, most excellent.
Most
Thank you.
Hey,
excellent
Bill and
guests.
Ted. All right.
Is there anything you guys want to pitch or sell, or you got dates coming up? What do you got shaking? Social media?
John, you got it all hanging.
No, he
I
only
need to
has
learn to
one
zip up my
hanging.
pants.
He only has one
Yeah,
hanging.
not all of it, just one.
You got stuff going on. I'm just at the Ice House for right now.
I'm going to be headlining the Tempe Improv on Sunday, October 6th.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Very
so
nice.
you can find me there.
Very nice. And Jimmy?
I'm getting spots at the Ice House again.
Oh,
You know, there was
good,
a
good.
price break for a
Yeah,
while.
yeah. Good
But-
for you. Jimmy's a most excellent MC. He's from being so.
Been there since 1997.
Yeah, yeah,
You're totally excellent, awesome.
yeah.
Thank you. You
Oh.
know how to reward me.
Michael, what do you have shaken and coming up lately?
I have. You know what? I'm so excited to plug the 25th day after tomorrow. We've got
Yes.
the Ice House. Or no, sorry, the Belly Room here at the Comedy Store. The lineup is
Yes.
insane. It's some of the best comics on the
Tim
planet. It's gonna
Dillon,
be a lot
Laura
of fun.
Beich, Sam Tripoli, Nagayo Beelum, and one more that I
Neil
don't
Brennan.
Neil
Mary,
Brennan.
Mary
Love Neil.
Basmagian.
Yeah.
Basmagian.
And
Basmagian.
our crew, of course.
Yeah,
Jessica's
yeah.
gonna be there. She's been to France.
And
It's
now
gonna
the
be a good
belly
show.
room.
Yeah, you want to come learn something?
10 p.m. 10 p.m. Not 8 p.m. It's a later show.
Well, it's 10:30.
10:30 p.m.
Yeah.
Even later than
It
that.
opens up at 10. It's going to be a lot of fun. Sam Tripoli's on that show. It's really going to be a great lineup, and I'm super stoked.
Can I promote one more thing really
Of
quick?
course you
Sorry.
may.
I have a web series called My Death
Jesus
Co., which
Christ.
is about a Grim Reaper that if you guys could check out, I'd appreciate.
Okay, good. And what about you, Austin?
I'm at the Austin Walker on everything. Also put October 29th on your calendar because that's the next time we're at the Belly Room. Follow our Instagram, The Liars Club 1, and Twitter, Liars_Club, and subscribe to us on YouTube after you get done with us on the Comedy Store here if you can.
Please.
And go Gators.
And for myself, if you guys have Amazon Prime, sorry to be this person, can you please go and watch Pervs, my documentary that I made, and leave a review? I'm very proud of it. Not only that, but recently my one-woman show / comedy special is now on Amazon Prime, premiered, and it was something that was very dear to my heart, and I worked on like a dog. And so if you guys could watch that and leave a review, that would be awesome. And yes, please come if you're in the Los Angeles area. In 2 days, we'll be at here at the Comedy Store in the Belly Room.
Yep, and October 12th, they're at the Ice House.
And follow me all
With
across the board. Follow me all across the board at Felicia Michaels. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I don't really have anything else.
The end.
Follow me at Jess Wellington 2, and you have been lied to.
I think
Yeah. It's just a cover of a.
I'm not telling that.
Disney believe you. Will the real liar please stand up? Right?
She's totally serious.
And you have been lied to.